You just clicked on this video, which means one of two things. Either you're curious about how scrolling might be frying your brain, or you're currently procrastinating by scrolling. Either way, welcome. Here's a harsh reality check for you. The average person spends 4 hours a day glued to their phone. That's 1460 hours a year. Or, if you live to 80, a jaw-dropping 11.5 years of your life sacrificed to the scroll. 11 and a half years. Imagine what you could do with that time. Learn 3 languages, master a skill, or binge watch everything on Netflix twice. Not that I'd recommend the last one. But don't panic just yet. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand why scrolling is so addictive, but also how it's quietly changing your brain chemistry, and most importantly, how you can stop it before it stops you. I've spent countless hours researching the science of smartphone addiction and uncovering powerful, real-life stories of people who've escaped the scroll trap. I've even crafted a step-by-step framework that gamifies your progress and sets you up for long-term success. Stick around, because this isn't just another list of tips, it's your guide to taking back control of your brain and your life. Point 1. The brain on scroll mode. So let's get straight to it. What exactly is happening in your brain when you're glued to your phone, endlessly scrolling? Turns out, it's not just relaxation. Nope, your brain is getting a dopamine workout, and not in a good way. Every swipe, every notification, every meme sends a tiny hit of dopamine rushing into your system. Feels good, right? Well, not for long. Here's the kicker. Your brain is basically a dopamine junkie. The more you scroll, the more it craves that hit. The problem? Each swipe is like cheap candy. It spikes your sugar, but leaves you more tired and hungrier for more. Over time, your brain's reward system starts to rewire itself. According to Dr. Anna Lembke, a leading expert on addiction and author of Dopamine Nation, this constant flood of dopamine causes your brain's reward pathways to become desensitized, meaning you need more scrolling to feel the same rush. Don't believe me? A 2019 study published in Neuroimage found that excessive smartphone use alters the brain's gray matter density in areas linked to decision-making and impulse control. Basically, your brain is saying, why spend energy focusing when I can just swipe and get instant gratification? And bam, your ability to concentrate, solve problems, or even enjoy life without your phone takes a nosedive. But it doesn't stop there. Ever wonder why it feels impossible to put your phone down, even when you know it's bad for you? That's not just willpower, it's neuroscience. In the next part, we're diving into the science of smartphone addiction and why your brain keeps you hooked whether you realize it or not. Point 2. Why you're hooked and don't even know it. Alright, so now you know your brain's reward system is getting hijacked, but why is it so hard to stop? Is it just bad habits, or are you actually addicted? Spoiler, the answer lies in how your brain is wired. Let's talk about something called intermittent reinforcement. It's a fancy psychology term, but here's what it means. Your brain loves surprises. Social media, notifications, and endless scroll feeds are designed to give you random rewards. A meme that makes you laugh, a message from a friend, or that one viral video. You never know what's coming next, so your brain keeps saying, just one more swipe, just one more. This pattern isn't accidental, it's engineered. Companies literally hire behavioral scientists to make their apps addictive. Dr. Anna Lembke explains that these platforms are like slot machines, delivering just enough dopamine to keep you coming back, but not enough to make you stop. Now, here's the wild part. Over time, this conditioning turns into dependency. A study by Harvard Medical School showed that people check their phones 96 times a day on average. 96. And most of the time, they don't even realize they're doing it. It's as automatic as blinking. But why do we fall for this? It's not just about dopamine hits. According to addiction expert Dr. Judson Brewer, compulsive behaviors often stem from deeper feelings like boredom, loneliness, or anxiety.
That 10 days is going to be miserable.
Right.
Anxiety, trouble sleeping, physical agitation, and to the point where impulsive, angry.
Your phone becomes a quick escape, a way to avoid those uncomfortable emotions. So here's the million-dollar question. If your brain is wired to crave this constant stimulus, is there any way to break free? The answer is yes. Stick around, because in the next point, we're diving into practical steps to regain control and finally break the cycle. Point 3. The game plan to break free. You've been scrolling for hours, your thumb an athlete in its own league, your brain a dopamine junkie. It feels impossible to stop, right? Don't worry, this isn't the part where I tell you to delete your phone, move to a cabin, and whittle spoons. Let's actually fix this, starting with quick hacks and then leveling up to long-term habits. Think of this as your anti-scrutiny cheat code. Short-term hacks, fix it fast. These are the band-aids for your brain. They're simple but effective, kind of like baby steps for your thumb detox. Number 1, silence the circus. Notifications are like little gremlins screaming, "Look at me," every 5 seconds. Go into your settings and turn off everything except essentials. Messages? Sure. TikTok telling you someone you barely know posted? I'd pass. Cutting those dings can drop your daily screen time by almost half. Science says so. 2, hide the candy. Your home screen? It's a dopamine buffet. Bury the distracting apps, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, into a folder called Nope, 3 swipes deep. Replace them with boring essentials like maps or calculator. Oh, and ditch the eye candy wallpaper. Make it something depressing, like a picture of your screen time stats. 3, set the clock. Let's face it, cold turkey isn't for everyone. Schedule a 20-minute scrolling session. Yes, schedule. Use an actual timer, and when the buzzer goes off, you're out. No, just one more video. It's like speed dating with your phone, but healthier. 4, dumb it down. Your phone's colorful interface is like a carnival for your brain. But why delete your smartphone when you can outsmart it? Activate grayscale mode, settings, accessibility, and display. Now your apps will look about as exciting as an office spreadsheet. It's boring on purpose, and it works. Another way is to get a launcher app, like Focus, to strip your interface down to basics. No badges, no feeds, no distractions. Keep only what you need. Think maps, messages, and maybe a weather app if you're feeling fancy. Long-term habits. Fix it forever. Short-term tricks are great, but if you want to really break free, you'll need some commitment. The 30-day dopamine reset. Dr. Anna Lemke, a dopamine researcher, swears this reset helps your brain find joy in real life again, like sunsets, books, or the sound of silence. This isn't just about quitting your phone addiction. It's about proving to yourself that you're not a slave to the scroll. All right, let's get real about the 30-day dopamine reset for phone addiction. Why this actually works.
30 days is, in my clinical experience, the average amount of time it takes for the brain to reset reward pathways, for dopamine transmission to regenerate itself. You will feel worse before you feel better.
For how long?
Yeah.
This is probably the first question they ask, right?
And I say usually in my clinical experience, you'll feel worse for 2 weeks. But if you can make it through those first 2 weeks, the sun will start to come out in week 3. And by week 4, most people are feeling a whole lot better than they were.
Research shows that after about 3 weeks of no scrolling, your brain's reward pathways start functioning like they're supposed to. True, this 30-day dopamine reset is no picnic. This 30-day reset is not some breezy walk in the park, although, ironically, you might end up taking a lot of walks in the park. The first few days, absolute chaos. Imagine reaching for your phone only to remember it's locked away like a forbidden treasure. Cue the twitching thumbs, the phantom vibrations, and the existential, "What did I even do before TikTok?" It's not just boredom. It's the kind of boredom that makes you consider alphabetizing your spice rack twice. But here's the plot twist. By week 2, something starts to shift. You notice little things, like how birdsong isn't half bad, or how books smell really good, weird but true. By week 3, you're no longer reaching for your phone every 12 seconds. You're too busy having actual thoughts. And by the end, you might just feel like the boss of your own brain again. Wild. Keegan Lee, a high school student, found herself tethered to her phone, spending so much time on Snapchat and TikTok that her phone practically had a dent in her palm. We're talking 6 hours a day, people. That's a part-time job in scrolling. But one day, Keegan realized she was feeling more drained than her phone battery after a long day of doom scrolling. So she did the unthinkable. She quit social media for a whole week. Gasp. The results? She actually enjoyed spending time with real humans and realized boredom wasn't as terrifying as she thought. Emboldened, she extended her break to 60 days, wrote a book about her journey, and is now teaching others how to stop letting apps hijack their lives. Not bad for someone who once couldn't go 30 seconds without refreshing her feed. Or Molly O'Brien, a stressed-out 27-year-old mom whose iPhone was glued to her hand for up to 8 hours a day. Her stress levels skyrocketed, her toddler wanted more attention, and, plot twist, her acne got worse. That's right, Her phone addiction was literally written all over her face. So Molly did something bold. She locked her iPhone in a digital lockbox every night and swapped it for a good old-fashioned Nokia 105. No touchscreen, no apps, no problem. With her phone out of reach from 6 p.m. to 7 a.m., Molly halved her screen time, felt calmer, became a more present mom, and get this, even cleared up her skin. The Nokia 105, surprisingly good for selfies without ever taking one. And then there's the hipster heroes of Gen Z. Sammy was one of those people who couldn't walk into a room without immediately pulling out her phone, probably to scroll past all the messages she wasn't replying to. But after realizing she was hooked, she joined a movement of young people ditching smartphones for flip phones. Yep, flip phones. The ones you slap shut like a dramatic TV character after a fight. Sammy says her flip phone keeps her present and focused. Then there's Aliena, who ditched her iPhone for the simple joys of a phone that doesn't even know what an algorithm is. These Zoomers are literally trading dopamine hits for nostalgia? It's like the 2000s are cool again, but this time it's therapy. Were they perfect? Nope. Did they succeed? Absolutely. How to make it suck less and maybe even enjoy it. Here's your survival guide. 1. Ease in. Don't go full cold turkey unless you're a masochist. Start by setting specific no-phone times, like during meals or right before bed. Build from there. 2. Distract your brain. Your brain craves dopamine, so give it something else to chew on. Try puzzles, baking, or even learning a random skill like juggling. Bonus points if it makes you feel like a circus act. 3. Gamify the process. Use apps like Forest or Stay Focused to turn your no-screw time into a game. Grow a virtual tree for every hour you stay off your phone. It's oddly satisfying and way less toxic than Instagram. 4. Buddy system. Tell a friend you're doing this. Better yet, rope them in. Accountability is a sneaky motivator, and nothing bonds people like mutual suffering. 5. Reward yourself. Hit a milestone? Treat yourself to something that makes you happy. A fancy coffee, a new book, or even a guilt-free nap. Just keep it phone-free.
Nope.
Why, you'll thank yourself later. These aren't superheroes. They're just regular folks who said, enough already. If Keegan can quit TikTok, Molly can lock her phone away, and Sammy can embrace retro tech, you can totally reclaim your life too. And who knows, maybe you'll clear up your skin and write a book while you're at it. Oh, and stick around, because up next, I'll show you how breaking your scrolling habit doesn't just save time, it transforms everything, from your relationships to your focus. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss it. Systems thinking, the domino effect of breaking free. Okay, let's imagine you've kicked your scrolling habit. Here's how it plays out. Suddenly, you're that mythical creature. Someone who can focus for more than 5 minutes without checking if Karen from high school has posted yet another blessed beach pic. The result? You're finishing projects before deadlines, instead of panic cramming at 3 a.m. with coffee as your emotional support animal. But here's the wild part. This newfound focus is like a gateway drug to productivity. You reconnect with friends who don't even remember what you look like in 3D. You dust off that guitar you swore you'd learn 5 years ago. Before you know it, your life is less about memes and more about meaningful moments. It's like your brain hits the upgrade button. And the ripple effects? Oh, they're everywhere. You're suddenly not just finishing tasks on time, you're crushing them. Fitness goals? Check. Meal prepping something more ambitious than instant ramen? Double check. And yes, you might even pick up a real book, a whole book, not just read the headline of an article. It's like life goes from VHS quality to full-on HD. The effects ripple out like you've just chucked a rock into a glassy lake. So here's the truth. Reclaiming your time is only half the battle. Why do so many people fail to grow in their personal lives, even after making changes? It's because they overlook the one thing that underpins everything else: their finances. Without financial stability, every other goal, whether it's pursuing a passion, building healthier habits, or even breaking free from scrolling, becomes harder to achieve. Money isn't everything, but it's the foundation that lets you focus on what truly matters. That's why your next step should be watching my video, How to Declutter Your Finances, Atomic Habits Summary by James Clear. It's a simple yet powerful guide to mastering your money, so you can stop feeling stuck and start making real progress in every area of your life. Click it now, because the best version of you starts with taking control of your finances.